We'll start with the prayer. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukum Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Bande Shri Gurundi Natarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Wonderful. I will share my screen. Did it go there? I thought it will appear there. Give me 1 second. I have to do this again. Choose the content window or app. Choose window or app. No, not this. Give me a second. This is the one it's sharing here, but why it's not coming? Okay. I guess this is what I need to do. Sorry, little screen mirroring. Choose content, window or app. Choose window or app. Mirror this window. Is that visible now? Yeah. Okay, beautiful. Why it's not appearing as a full screen? Okay, I don't know why it's not coming. I just want to start with this one. I think things are a little tricky today. I don't know why they are not working. Oh man.
Yeah, it's class.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Give me 1 second. Let's try from here.
On the river Ganges. It was the summer. Very hot. Probably 110 degrees Fahrenheit. And nobody else was there at the time. It was actually at Prayag, the place where the Kumbh Mela takes place. But it wasn't. I was just at Kumbh Mela, and the day I bathed in the same spot, according to the government, 35 million people bathed. 35 million humans bathed in that place on that day. But in 1971, when I was sitting there, I was the only one around. A hawk was flying overhead. This hawk was hovering lower and lower and lower till he was just a few meters above me. I looked up at him. He had brown, white, and kind of gold feathers with his wings and extremely sharp claws. And its beak was curved down and pointed, very sharp, and yellow eyes that seemed to be blinkingly gazing at me as he was coming lower and lower and lower. So now I was thinking, maybe he's hungry. And maybe I'm his food. Suddenly, he dove right into the water and went underwater a little. And there was a skirmish. And about 30 seconds later, he emerged from the water with a flapping fish in its claws. That fish was about a foot long, and it was really bewildered. It was just a few yards in front of me, and I looked into the eyes of that fish. He or she, I couldn't tell. And I don't want to call him it, so I'll just call him he, just for conventional purposes. That fish looked so disoriented and bewildered. And I was thinking, he was probably just going about his day like every other day. Swimming upstream, swimming downstream, maybe with family, friends, looking for food. Did not expect that at the least expected moment, it would be ripped out of its complacency by destiny. And I was thinking, how many people I know, how many people I hear about, very much like that fish, are just going about their days, and all of a sudden they're diagnosed with a terminal disease. Or they're betrayed by a loved one. Or they get in an accident, or there's an earthquake that devastates everything around them. It happens every day. No one expects it. That hawk of destiny is kind of flying over everyone's head and could come down to get us. And I was thinking how we shouldn't be complacent. We should make priorities in our life of what really is sacred, what really is important. Martin Luther King speaks. He said, if you do not have an ideal you're willing to die for, you have nothing meaningful to live for. Do we have that ideal? Moments pass and we're just so preoccupied with superficialities. How much time do we really invest in trying to discover what's really meaningful and important in life? And then I reflected how if that fish was swimming deeper, the hawk could not reach it. And similarly, if our fulfillment, if our pleasure and meaning in life is deep, then whatever happens in this ever-changing world cannot really disturb what we have achieved within ourselves, and cannot alter the integrity and the character in which we live. I was sitting.
What do you think about this video? Thoughts or comments?
Prabhuji, there is two things.
Yes.
Um, One is life is too short, and so you have to do bhakti. It's at every time you have some kind of free time, or you want to make some free time to do for bhakti, because life is too short, and by the time you be gone, so at least you have your part. And other
Hmm.
thing is, I was gonna say something, I forgot now.
No problem. We'll go in the room and then you can chime in if you remember that, Mataji. You want to start, Mataji?
Like anytime we can be taken away from our comfort zone,
Hmm.
we should be clear with our priorities, what we should focus on.
Very nice. Beautiful. Supraja, Mataji, you want to add something?
And it talks about the purpose of life.
Hmm.
So, I think the purpose of life is first trying to understand yourself and then trying to understand your outer environment or outer world.
Hmm.
So, understanding yourself kind of gives you that strong foundations, which does not stir you when such kind of
Difficulties or
disturbances comes from
Hmm.
externally.
Hmm.
So, I mean, that's what I was kind of relating to it.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay, Mommy, the Mataji, you want to add something? Did you remember? That's okay if you don't. Just wanted to bring in here.
Okay, Prabhu, the thing is, we get busy with any other mundane things in our life, and we kind of, as Prabhuji said before, that we kind of forget what to do. The most important thing in our life, which is nam jap, or study scriptures, this kind of thing. Other than we go out and have fun with people, we go out and have fun with others, where there is no bhakti or anything related to. So that's what they say is that when you don't expect anything, that's what happens in life, and it's too late by that time.
Very nice. All these points are super amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. If I have to summarize the purpose of our getting together, or if I have to summarize application of Bhagavad Gita in today's modern world, I would put this video. And this is what covers what Bhagavad Gita is all about. Bhagavad Gita is teaching that in whatever circumstances we are, they will not do what, or they will not look like what we are expecting. Like you see, maybe a crude example or a very simple example. This is September mid. After Labor Day, generally the weather is supposed to get little cold, but now we have some few warm days, which is great. But the life does not work. The point which I want to bring in is does not work the way we are looking for. So there are going to be things which will come on our way which we were not anticipating, and they similarly, like that fish, they change our whole perspective and we are bewildered what to do at that time. Like yesterday I was doing the DT service, and there was another Prabhu who was giving a class, and one, I did not see him, I was just listening his comment. He said, there is nothing to fear about death. I was on the altar and I was like little this thing to come and tell him, what do you know what the death feels like? For a person who is having a death experience, or they go like like near death experience, you ask them what the death is look like. And similarly, like this fish who seems to be bewildered, we will all be bewildered when that moment comes. And that's the time of reflection, which is so small, to think over what I've done in my life and what should I've done better. But like in computer world, there is command Z or control Z. There is nothing like that command in our life. Control Z. You're done. Now you start from scratch. Everything again and again, you forgot everything. Start with the blank slate. And that is unfortunate reality of the world. With that context, let's start deep dive in what we are discussing today. Remind me again, what is the verse today? We are on chapter 2.
49.
Beautiful. Okay, beautiful. I'm going to share my screen here. 49. And probably I will have to reshare again. Yeah. Sorry, things have changed on the software, so it changes things. Is this visible now? Beautiful. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Beautiful. Dure nahi avaram karma. Buddhi yoga dhananjaya. Buddhau sharanam vichya. Kripana phala hetavaha. Any of you can read the translation and purport. We will start with translation. Go ahead.
O Dhananjaya, keep all abominable activities far distant by devotional service, and in that consciousness surrender all to the Lord. Those who want to enjoy the fruits of their work are myself.
Thank you. So, if you remember the section of the second chapter we are on, which is talking about the Buddhi Yoga, how one can use a sharpened intelligence to decide what has to be done, which is based on the scriptures. So, let's move forward. Read the purport.
One who has actually come to understand one's constitutional position as an eternal servitor of the Lord gives up all engagements save working in Krishna consciousness. As already explained, Buddhi Yoga means transcendental loving service to the Lord. Such devotional service is the right course of action for the living entity. Only misers desire to enjoy the fruit of their own work just to be further entangled in material bondage. Except for work in Krishna consciousness, all activities are abominable because they continually bind the worker to the cycle of birth and death. One should therefore never desire to be the cause of work. Everything should be done in Krishna consciousness for the satisfaction of Krishna. Misers do not know how to utilize the assets of richness which they acquire by good fortune or by hard labor. One should spend all energies working in Krishna consciousness, and that will make one's life successful. Like misers, unfortunate persons do not employ their human energy in the service of the Lord.
Very beautiful. Thank you, Mataji, for reading that. This verse is specifically mentioning about the word called as constitutional position. Can you tell me what is constitution? What is your understanding about constitutional position? For me, this was a new term when I came to Krishna consciousness. So that's where I just want to see your perspective and I want to chime in there. Any thoughts? If no, then that's okay as well.
Like what is expected out of you as per society?
Yes, that's a good call out, very close. So we have two dharmas, or we have two kind of activities. One is called as, and I'll spell them out. One is Swadharma and second is Nitya Dharma. Swadharma, I briefly brought these terms sometime back when I gave an example about Karna's story. You remember that? That's okay if you don't remember. It happens. So Swadharma is basically the activities which are pertaining to the body, which we all do. We take care of our family, we take care of our job, we take care of our all other things, financial situation, health, and so many aspects. That's called as Swadharma. If you see, even animals and birds also do the same thing. Do they take care of their family? They do, right? You see that, like I'll give you one example. Near my house, just the entrance, there's a lamb. Over the lamb, a bird, mother bird created a nest and she delivered the babies. She would go every day morning, she would get the food and feed to the children because they cannot fly yet. So you see, even animals and birds do the same thing. They take care of their families. Now, when you say, do they do the job? Well, our job is to bring food, and they already do that by going everywhere around and all that stuff. So, in a certain way, we are doing similar thing what they are doing. So, Swadharma is not something which is different between, or Swadharma is not something which differentiates human from other species of life. Now, let's go to the other dharma, which is Nitya Dharma. Now, irrelevant of who am I, or irrelevant of whatever position I am in, we know we are going to lose those, whether this body, whether the position, whatever we have, we are going to lose that, which means that's not something which is going with us. So there has to be something more than what the body requires, and that's called as Nitya Dharma, which is differentiates between the other species of life and human, because human don't come and discuss, animals don't come and discuss Bhagavad Gita. Humans do, because they know, coming back to that video, the purpose of life. And not everyone inquires about the purpose of life. So if you're standing here or if you're sitting here, there is something within you which inspires you to come there. Like it said, it's very easy to start and it's very easy to give up. But what requires is continuation in terms of whether I can continue or not. And the more you continue, you realize, oh, there is some kind of commitment I have for which I'm doing this, whatever activities I'm doing. As a mother, right? Or as a child, you have commitment towards your parent, towards your family, that I have to do that. For an example, I whatever time I sleep or whatever has to happen, I know when I wake up in the morning, I have to cook lunch for my kids. Whether I want or do not want, but there is a commitment towards that. Same way in Nitya Dharma, we have a commitment towards God, and that's an important aspect which is being given here. We all serve, whether we accept or we do not accept, we all are servants. If I have to speak about myself, I'm servant of my family. I'm a servant of my boss. I'm a servant of my job. I'm a servant of nationality. I'm a servant of the country. Now, if I have to deep dive in that, how do I serve? How am I the servant of my family? I cook for them. I take care of their needs and concerns. How do I serve my job? By whatever is my roles and responsibility, I have to deliver that work. So I serve there. Same, how do I serve the nationality or this thing? Like you gave an example, you have a yearly festival, you go to, this is how you serve your community. Same way, when we come to nation, by paying taxes or whatever is required to do that, or just following the rules and regulations. So we all do that thing. So when we talk about the eternal servitor of the Lord, this is very interesting. So today, see, when I was living in India, I was being a servant of Indian citizen, being serving as an Indian citizen. When I'm here, though I'm an Indian citizen, I still have my Indian passport, but I serve here. So the position changed. You agree? The servitorship also changed. Like, for an example, when I was a small boy, my parents were taking care of me. Now I have to run my own business. I have to take care of myself. Then when my kids grow. So that is not eternal. It keeps changing. But one thing which remains eternal is serving the Lord, serving God. And why should we serve God? And I gave so many examples. Every day sun rises. Someone is instructing the sun to grow. Like you said, there is a higher energy, which is taking care of everything. So there is a liability, if I have to say in a crude way. But if I have to say in a sophisticated way, there is a gratitude. I have to reciprocate with whatever I am receiving. And that is what is required here, that we save all the engagements, save working in Krishna consciousness. So what we are right now doing, whether we know or we do not know, we are serving our soul and we are serving God. Even listening about God is also a service. So as already explained, we are talking about the Buddhi Yoga. Such devotional service is a right course of action for living entity. But I want to bring in this very important word which was brought in here, and let me see. Except to all activities are abominable. Now one may say, Are, so what am I doing? Am I doing all nonsense? I take care of so many activities. Do you have to do Swadharma? Yes, I have to do the Swadharma. The purpose is not to just maintain the body. Like, for an example, this is a beautiful analogy. There is a car and there is an ambulance. Both are vehicles, right? You take care of your car, taking care of the oil change, taking care of car wash, and so many aspects, maintenance and all that stuff. So there is a maintenance window. And you do the same thing for ambulance. But the purpose is way different. You see that? The purpose of ambulance is, though I'm serving, I'm taking care of the maintenance need, but it serves a higher purpose. It is supposed to take care of not just the owner of that car, but everyone in the community, to take care, to make them sure that their health is taken care of. And that is like, our body is different from a regular person. Our body is like a temple. And we take care of the temple, like we keep the temple clean. Now imagine if all the dust would be around, would you come there? You would say, oh, nobody takes care of the temple. So you take care of the responsibility and thinking that this is actually a higher purpose to serve. So when we use the body, though we perform Swadharma, but that becomes Nitya Dharma. Am I with you? You are all with me so far? Right? Because whatever activities, whatever maintenance of body is taken care of, I am doing it for a higher purpose. I need to take care of my body so that I can use this body in the service of God. And this is what is being brought in here. If the body is not utilized to serve God, then I'm misusing what has been given. You remember the story of the fruit seller I given it, the vegetable seller? You remember, right? This is the same thing if it's not utilized correctly. So before I move to the next verse, any comments or reflections?
So you were talking about the constitutional position. So
Yes.
what was that?
The constitutional position is the Nitya Dharma, which I was mentioning about. The regular occupational duty which we have, that is Swadharma, and this is Nitya Dharma. But again, you don't differentiate between those two if I'm a living entity participating in spiritual activities, because I need to take care of Swadharma to continue Nitya Dharma. Are you with me so far? If I don't have a job, if I don't have a good body in terms of healthy body, then I cannot do my Nitya Dharma properly. So I need to take care of my body, but that is not the goal of life, because even birds and animals are doing that. So I don't have to be just carry forward with that mindset. This I have to only take care of this. I have to take care of that in connection with this bigger picture, which is Nitya Dharma. That is what I wanted to bring in from this verse. Make sense? Cool. Okay. Let's move to the next verse, text 50. Buddhi yukto jahatiha ubbe sukrita dushkrite tasmad yogaya yujyasva yoga karma sukaushalam. Translation, please.
A man engaged in devotional service rids himself of both good and bad reactions, even in this life. Therefore, strive for yoga, which is the art of all.
Lot of time, thank you, mother. A lot of time people ask why there is differentiation. Why did not God create everything equal? You see, some people are poor, some people are rich, some people are stinking rich. So there is a gradation. You see so many kind of people. So one may say, oh, why does God create like that? And this is very important. A man engaged in devotional service rids himself of both good and bad reactions. So one may say, oh, this is because of your karma, because of your activities which you performed in last time. So am I just being a robot? Some destiny decides where am I heading based on my activity. Now here is the verse which is clarifying, you all drive your own destiny. Are you with me so far? We all have a complete control on deciding our destiny, which means we are the driver. We can decide where I will land in next, right? Not that some external power is controlling us. To be precise, God is deciding our destiny. I'm sorry, God does not decide our destiny. We decide our own destiny. And now, if the own destiny is decided, I made a mistake. Now I want to correct it. Can I do that? And this is what is being specified. Saying that if you perform the devotional service, and let me be very specific, connecting back to the previous verse, we talked about Nitya Dharma, which is devotional aspect. We serve everyone, right? We take care of our family, but when we serve God, that becomes a devotional service. So bhakti, which is an Hindi term, right? If I have to translate in English term, Prabhupada put it very beautifully, devotional service. I cannot have just devotion, which is a very mundane, or which is not mundane, very narrow thought process of um, spirituality is that I'll live in silo, I'll worship God, and I will treat anyone and everyone whatever way I want to. You're with me so far? Even Hitler thought he is doing a greatest service to his God. But what was he doing? He was killing all Jewish people. Is that spirituality? Definitely not. Why? Because spirituality does not mean I do what I want to do. It has to pertain to the laws which are set up by God. And on top of it, it has to serve. And I will sometime we will talk about 3 C's which I was listening, and I'll share that, and I would highly recommend that. But coming back to this, we have a control, and that's why Arjuna is being told, don't worry about the reaction. You strive for the yoga, which is art of all work. Go ahead with the purport.
Since time immemorial, each living entity has accumulated the various reactions of his good and bad work. As such, he is continuously ignorant of his real constitutional position. One's ignorance can be removed by the instruction of the Bhagavad Gita, which teaches one to surrender unto Lord Sri Krishna in all respects and become liberated from the chain of victimization of action and reaction, word after word. Arjuna is therefore advised to act in Krishna's consciousness, the purifying process of resultant action.
A beggar, thank you, Mataji. A beggar who is on the side of the road. Why he's a beggar? Because he did some choices wrong in his previous life. That is why he or she has been given that birth. Now, if I feed that poor person, thinking that, oh, you know what, let me just offer some food or some money on that. So you may see, this is great, this is nice charity. But he will again become hungry tomorrow, right? So say, okay, I'll feed him tomorrow also. You say, oh, day after tomorrow, I also feed him. Maybe this lifetime. But the problem is not that he is hungry. The problem is, why did he get in there? Similar way, when we have boils in our body, we just don't cure it on the top. We see the problem is because the blood is not pure, so you take care of the blood. Similar way, when someone is beggar or someone is in the lower position from poverty perspective, why is he poor? You may fill in those gaps by giving him a charity, but you can help him to cross over that species of life and get into the higher birth so that he doesn't have to struggle for 2 meals of the day. Trust me, there, if we are getting 2 meals every day or 3 meals, however, depending on whatever you follow, you see, there are people who even struggle for 1 meal a day. They have to work so hard. Like I sometimes see when I need the help at home and I reach out and I just put it on MI India or something, a lot of students, and then I feel bad in terms of, but they struggle to survive. They may come from a good background, but still they struggle to survive. So not that this because of their karma, but the point which I'm trying to bring in here is that we have to follow a similar thing to actually help them to get out of that miserable position they are in. And how do you do that? Now question comes in. By giving them, if you offer them food, which means your karma, they will have to suffer for it. Because it's whatever activities they have performed, if it is not offered to God, that becomes sin. But if the same food is offered to God and if you give it to them, they get prasad and their life is transformed. Making sense? So one may say, okay, how about if I don't have, let's get practical. How about if I don't have prasad in my car? So what do I do? I think we discussed briefly about that. So what do? I don't want to get the fruits of my activity, because if he utilizes that money or whatever I give in a wrong purpose, I have to suffer for it. So remembering God, this is doing as part of offering to you. Also, that thought also counts, and that helps them to actually grow to the next better version of the devotee. You make sense so far? Any other comments on this verse? I think this is rest of the points are crystal clear. All good? Okay. Let's go to next verse. Text 51. Karmajam buddhi yukta hi phalam tyaktva manishanaha janma bandha vinirmukta padam gacchati anamayam. You will read the translation, Madhuri.
By thus engaging in devotional service to the Lord, great sages or devotees free themselves from the scissors of work in the material world. In this way, they could become free from the cycle of birth and death and attain the state beyond all miseries by going back to Godhead.
Can you give me an example from the scriptures in any species of life? Don't restrict yourself. Who perfected their life or who performed the devotional service utilizing this body in constitutional position? I'll repeat the question. Think about any personality in any scripture, whether it is Rama and Mahabharata or any of the scriptures, where that living entity, and I'm specifically using a word living entity, it may not necessarily a human, who utilize their whatever body they are in and perfected their body by choosing their action in constitutional position. Hanuman, okay, that's a wonderful example. Any other example? Very close. Hanuman met a great personality also.
Jatayu.
Yes, very beautiful, right? Jatayu, what kind of body he is in? He's in bird body, right? Does he know what is the real purpose of life? Well, certainly not, because they cannot inquire about the God, but he utilized his life in serving God. Same way you gave an example of Hanuman. Hanuman is a monkey, right? By external this thing, right? But he utilized every activity in his life in serving God. Was he not maintained? He was maintained. He was taking care of his Swadharma also by serving Sugriva. Was Sugriva a great leader, spiritually minded? Actually, no. He was not as spiritually minded as Hanuman, but he was taking care of his constitutional position. And not only that, he utilized his body and mind, all everything about the body, mind, and words in serving God, also serving and preaching others. Hanuman became a role model. There is another, okay, I don't want to get in there. Same way, when you see about Jatayu, he realized, and I want to spell this out specifically. Jatayu, when he saw Mother Sita was being taken away, he knew who Ravana is, and he knew his power as well. He knew he's going to lose his life. So one may say, is he stupid? Why is he doing that? Did he lose his life? Yes. What did he gain? Have you ever thought about it? Apparently, he lost his life. If he would not have really jumped in there, he would have survived, right? So what is the difference here? Did he lose or did he win?
We got out of the life and death cycle.
Very nice. Thank you. Thank you. I wanted to bring in there. Very nice point. When he was, of course, he was half dead when Ravana actually about to kill him. And when Lord Ram came, wonderful. Thank you, Marji. Lord Ram came to see him. At that time, Lord Ram offered, this is a very beautiful narration. Lord Ram offered Jatayu a highest position in spiritual world. He doesn't have to come to the cycle of birth and death again. The moksha is only the Brahman Jyoti. You remember the example, which is sun god, sun and sun rays. Right? So sun rays is also a liberation, which is called as mukti or Brahman Jyoti. Above that is the sun, right? Which is Paramatma. Above that, we will come in deeper dive on that. Above that is sun god, which is Bhagwan. So he actually gave him a person body in spiritual world. So he did not lose, he actually won. And very interesting aspect which I wanted to share is Ravana was a Brahmana and he knew everything based on the scripture. Astrology is also one part of the scriptures, or one part of the scriptures, I'll put it that way. He actually stole Mother Sita based on the astronomy chart. If he steals someone's possession at that particular period of time, the owner will never get it back. This is not a mythology. That's why I wanted to deep dive there. So he knew, if I'm going to steal Sita at that time, Ram will never get her back. And that astrological chart was there for a given period of time. Jatayu fought with Ravana, and that astrological chart changed by the time he killed. By the time he was killed. Now the astrological chart was, anyone who stole anybody's property, that property will become the cause of that person's death.
But he already stole Sita.
Stole, but he hasn't brought her exactly there. So he's still carrying her. That's a very good call. The property is not, until it reaches to the place, it is not considered to be the stolen property. So based on that, Jatayu changed the time and fought with him. And he was dead, but what did he win there? He changed that nakshatra to change. Now Sita will become the cause of the death of Ravana. Very interesting. Makes sense, Mother. You're lost or you're with me?
No, I'm not lost, but I'm trying to put some logical thought there.
Yeah, because Ravana was still stealing. He picked up Mother Sita, but he did not reach to the destination yet. Because until he goes into his zone, the thing is not considered to be stolen completely. The transaction is not complete. Let me put it that way. Until it. For an example, if I steal the money, until it enters into my bank account, the transaction is not completed. So very similar thing on that front.
Yeah, I've never heard this story.
Yeah,
viewpoint.
this is where the deep dive comes in, because on the scripture, and it's very beautifully mentioned, there are three rivers: Ganga, Yamuna, and Mother Saraswati. You know about that, right? Three rivers. Have you taken a bath ever in Saraswati River? I'll ask you this question. Tell me a place where you can take a bath in Saraswati River.
Saraswati is dried up.
Okay. Any other thoughts? Go deeper. This is all external. Rivers never dry up. Even on the surface, you may say they are there under the earth. Saraswati is the only river which is not accessible directly. So even if you see it, you will not find out that, oh, when did Saraswati dried up? Where did it dry up? You can't find out the source for that one. Mother Saraswati or the Saraswati river flows under the earth. That's why you can never take a bath in that one. Are you with me so far, Mataji?
So actually, archaeologically, they did find that there was a river flowing. And
Correct, but not in the yoga we live
but
in.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yes,
Not
good you brought.
yeah,
Correct.
because in all the scriptures they mention about Saraswati, but we do not find it because we do find the remnants of it. But
Yes, good,
yes,
because Saraswati river always flows under earth and we don't have access to that. So that's why we can never. So instructions of these scriptures is like Saraswati river. So these acharyas or great leaders who are practicing these spiritual processes, they actually reveal that Mother Saraswati to us, that Saraswati river. So the instruction or deep dives or these teachings from these scriptures is through which you can take a bath in Saraswati river. So Ganga and Yamuna, which are external, which are visible to our eyes, we can read it through the scripture, but the real teachings are the hidden meanings are in the form of Mother Saraswati.
and Goddess Saraswati is metaphor for education too, the
Correct.
knowledge and
Correct. A very good point. Yes, those both the things are connected. Yes, Madhuri. Thank you so much. Can we read the purport?
The liberated living entities belong to that place where there are no material miseries.
Hmm.
For one who has accepted the boat of the lotus,
Very beautiful.
feet of the Lord, who is the shelter of the cosmic manifestation and is famous for Mukunda, and the giver of Mukti, the ocean of the material world is like the water content in calf's footprint. Parampadam, or the place where there are no material miseries, or Vaikuntha is his goal, not the place where there is danger in every step of life. Owing to ignorance, one does not know that this material world is a miserable place where there are dangers at every step. Out of ignorance, only less intelligent persons try to adjust to the situation by future activities, thinking that the resultant action will make them happy. They do not know that no kind of material body anywhere within the universe can give life without miseries. The miseries of life, namely birth, death, old age, and diseases, are present everywhere within the material world. But one who understands his real constitutional position as the eternal servitor of the Lord and thus knows the position of the personality of Godhead, engages himself in transcendental loving service of the Lord. Consequently, he becomes qualified to enter into Vaikuntha's planet, where there is neither material miserable life nor the influence of time and death. To know one's constitutional position means to know also the sublime position of the God of the Lord. One who wrongly thinks that the living entity's position and the Lord's positions are on the same level is to be understood to be in darkness and therefore unable to engage himself in the devotional service of the Lord. He becomes the Lord himself and thus paves the way for the repetition of birth and death. But one who understanding that his position is to serve, transfers himself to the service of the Lord, at once becomes eligible for Vaikuntha Loka. Service for the Lord, for the cause of the Lord is called Karma Yoga or Buddhi Yoga, and in plain words, devotional service to the Lord.
Very nice. Thank you. This is very important. I know we were talking about the term yoga last week. So when we talk about yoga, which is connecting, but connecting to what is important, and that is what we were talking about, connecting to God. Excuse me, with either karma yoga or also called as buddhi yoga. So that is being referred here. Any questions here before we move to next verse?
so when you say Buddhi Yoga, it's basically expanding your knowledge, wisdom.
Using your connected to that one, using your intelligence to acquire knowledge which takes you out of the cycle of birth and death. Buddhi is intelligence. Buddhi, right? Intelligence in material world, the intelligence is about how to take care of the body. You agree? whether by earning good amount of money, whether investing at the right place, or being smart enough to take care of the right decisions and all that stuff. But everything in this material world is connected to the body, which is temporary. So, for an example, Warren Buffett comes to you and asks you, I will give you a stock. You invest all your possessions, everything you have in the stock. I promise you, after 40 years, you will have $0 in your account. What will you do? You laugh at it. I don't want to invest. Will you invest? You will not invest. Am I making sense or no? You will not invest in a stock which is not going to give me the value. So the question comes in is that everything I do in my life is connected to the body, and I know I'm going to lose the body. Are you going to carry with that? You remember that most foolish person on the planet? A king called his minister to find out who is the most foolish person in the Mahamurkha. You remember that story, right? This is unfortunate thing. You see in this world, everyone is working so hard. Not easy. Trust me. I see people working 2 jobs, working 14 hours. I know some students who actually have to work in the night and then they have to study, foaming to their mouth. Why? Because I want a good job. Why do you need a good job? Because I need the money. Why do you need good money? So that I have better facilities. Okay, why do you need better facilities? So can I live comfortably? I'll be peaceful. But then do you think the people who are millionaire, they are peaceful? They say, oh, we are not peaceful. So why am I running towards that one? I remember when I was there in Sydney, when I started Krishna consciousness, not even got there. So one devotee approached me saying that, God has given you everything. Why don't you worship God? Why don't you chant the name of God? And I'm like, yeah, I'm busy. I want to be a director. I want to be a CEO. I want to earn a lot of money. And what has to happen? But here, the people who are rich, who are stinking rich, they are saying this money is not giving me anything which I'm looking for. This is I don't know if you have noticed sometimes, I have seen even how the kids deal with their parents. You see, oh my goodness, the parents are working so hard. And when I see someone, we went for a cruise and we went to some Mexican city, somewhere we went. And there were people who were dressing like very opulent, and they would come. And I would just see the tables next. The kids will talk to their parents in a way. The parents are frustrated. The kids are frustrated with the parent. Why did you work so hard? For the kids, and even kids, why did you give me the birth? They are so frustrated with each other. Hey, when will I grow up? And I just want to leave. I want to quit. And then you have old age homes everywhere. Now even that's a concept in India. Why? Oh, I want to work and I want to grow up my kids. For what? That they will throw me to the old age home? I'm not saying everyone does it, but I'm saying there is a majority of people who does that. So why am I working so hard? To put my stock, put my money into the dead stock, which is never going to give me any value. So shouldn't we do that? We do that, but again, remembering this money, I'm taking care of my body so that I can practice my spiritual life perfectly. That's the whole point which we are trying to put that in the framework. It is like you have a bigger jar and you have to put the stones in that one in such a way so that you can cover as many stones in that possible. So you put bigger stones, you put smaller stones. The purpose is not just to fill the jar, but to accommodate every aspect to connect to God, which is the most important aspect. Yes, we want to fill the jar, but not just to become a dead person in my life and have no purpose in my life. I want to get out of the cycle of birth and death. Trust me, the material energy is so powerful. Here, the 4 points are mentioned, which is the miseries of this body is birth, old age, disease, and death. Do you think birth is a misery? Or let me put it that way. Do you accept birth as a misery? We are born crying. That is one of the symptoms. But the pain we all went through, but none of us remember what it was. You agree? Do you remember? I don't remember. Even I remember when my children were born, I was so happy as a parent, but they are miserable. Very beautiful scriptures mention when we are in the womb of a mother. Can you imagine yourself being in a sack for 9 months? No light, no food, and whatever food is coming, sometimes the mother eats the spicy food, the child has to suffer. She prays in the womb. Krishna, if, let me come out. I promise I will never give up devotional service. I'll worship you for every breath. We forgot. At least I'm thinking about myself. I wasted my 28 years, and I don't know even if I'm wasting my life right now. We just forgot. And the similar experience when there is death. I made a mistake. Can I recover? Can I do a command Z? Krishna says, okay, I'll give you a control R. I'll give you a repeat. I'll give you another birth. And if you want to do any correction, you can do that. And then again, A for apple, B for bat, C for Charlie, D for dog. We all start from scratch. This is an unfortunate reality of this world. This is how this material energy or material world is created. Okay, I think I covered that point. Don't want to go deeper. Did I clarify the point? Make sense? Okay. Should we move to the next verse? I think it's already 4:50. Um, can we chant one round together? Can we summarize quickly? And I think I want to give the time to chant one round together because we otherwise don't get to chant. Can we summarize what we discussed today? Mataji, Mamita Mataji, I didn't realize I didn't share the Bhagavad Gita shlokas. Were you able to follow along?
Yes, Prabhu, I'm reading the book as well.
Okay, sorry. I just realized with this technology stuff, I did not realize I didn't share. Let's go ahead with the reflections what we discussed today. Couple of points, if you all can share, that will be wonderful. You can start, Mani.
I think they understand the purpose of life
Hmm.
and understanding what's temporary and permanent. So
Hmm.
permanence is the eternity and the eternal being.
Very nice. Thank you. And we gave, okay. Yeah, Mataji, you had the Nal Pichan. Whatever you remember.
Uh, if there are good and bad, to give us some understanding on the wisdom, like how to prioritize our stuff.
Okay. Okay, very nice. Okay, Mamita Mataji, you want to add?
Yes, Prabhu. We have, I forgot the terms that you say, Nitya, like
Dharma and Swadharma.
Swadharma and Nitya
Nitya
Dharma.
Dharma.
Yes, so although we have,
Easy way to remember is we have Nitya Mataji here. So when you remember that is why we have to easily remember. That's the term and then put Dharma behind it. Go ahead.
right. So yeah, we have so much other thing to do in life, but we also have to take time for our devotional services. No matter what, is just has to be. Nothing is easy, but we have to keep trying it.
Very nice. Thank
Perfect.
you. Thank you. Any other points or reflections anybody wants to add before I jump in?
I know we say that body is the material. It's a reflection of material world, Maya, and all that. Right?
Hmm.
But at the same time, the body is the most complicated,
I agree.
complex universe by itself.
I agree.
Right.
Correct.
So I kind of feel like you've got to respect that aspect of it because
Yes.
that also gives, because this becomes, it houses the consciousness, what we're talking about, right? So
Yes.
sometimes,
We said body is like a temple. There is a
Right.
difference between car and ambulance. We discussed that also. Ambulance has a purpose as long as it is aligned to that. Yes. Go ahead.
Right. So I think that's where whatever you do
Hmm.
is how does it benefit yourself, benefit your body, so that it keeps your mind more healthy.
Wait.
I'm kind of thinking
Yes.
that body and mind are not separate; they're one and the same. As long as you can keep your body healthy, it's gonna keep your mind healthy. A healthy mind is where you can kind of venture and expand yourself
Yes.
to
Yes.
understand the eternity.
Yes, just want to add few colors to the point which you shared, Madaji. So there are two bodies. One is a gross body, second is a subtle body, and we will come to that further down the line. Gross body is made of earth, water, fire, air, and ether,
Yeah.
right? Which is All our formation, whether from the hair, whether to go till the toe,
Yeah.
everything is made of those five elements. That's called as gross body. There is another body called a subtle body. They are in one line, which is correct. And another subtle body is mind, intelligence, and ego.
Right.
These three elements are not part of the body, but at the same time they live in the body. The gross body and subtle body, and along with that, there is a soul and super soul. So these are four things. Not things should not be a right word, but these are four which constitutes everything. When we die, the mind does not die. If mind is the body, if it is same as body, then mind also has to die. It doesn't happen that. So when we die, only the earth, water, fire, air, and ether, which is burned and become ashes, mixes to add same earth, water, fire, air, and ether. It becomes that. But mind, intelligence, and ego. What happened to the soul? We said five elements, right? So the soul leaves the body, right? Now the question comes in is who did the karma? Sorry, I'm just going little deeper.
Yeah.
So did the soul did the karma, or did the body do the karma? If body did the karma, then I should not reap the fruits of that karma in my next life. I'll answer that. Sorry, I don't want to get it complicated. So body does not do the karma. You agree on that part? Body is an instrument to perform certain action. But the body can only perform certain action as long as the soul is within the body. You agree? Dead body never performs any action. So body does not do karma. You agree? Body is an instrument to perform a karma, but there is something which impedes this body to perform. That is mind. That's a subtle body. So this is mind, above that is intelligence, above that is ego. That's how the hierarchy is set. With me so far? Mind impels the soul to perform certain action. The soul doesn't want to perform that action, but mind gets polluted with, the soul gets polluted with the thought of mind. Mind performs, and mind asks the soul to perform certain activity. Through the medium of the body, it performs that action and gets the reaction. So it is the mind who is the culprit to take us from one body to another body. You see that? Irrelevant of however well you take care of the body, right? However well you can make the mind little comfortable, but that guy will still take you to the next body. So you have to grow above the platform of mind. And what is above the platform of mind? We just now said intelligence, right? We said hierarchy is there. So intelligence has to be sharpened, that to make a discrimination what is right and what is wrong. You agree? Because the problem is choices is the problem. I've been given a choice and I do a right choice or wrong choice. If I do right, this, wrong, this. So I have to perform right choices. So intelligence has to be sharpened to understand what is right and what is wrong. If you take the rules of this material world, whatever says this is right and this is wrong, I'm sorry, you cannot be delivered. So you have to have a base from which you drive what is right and what is wrong. You agree or do not agree?
Right.
I feel driving at, when the road sign says 70, I feel driving at speed of 85 is okay. Is that right or wrong?
Wrong.
Definitely wrong. Why? Because there is a law book. And I have to put in, I cannot decide what the laws are. Government decides the law. God decides the law. Where are those laws coming? In this the scriptures. So coming back to, sorry, I'm just decoding every aspect so that it becomes crystal clear. So I need a knowledge, but the knowledge is not of the mundane knowledge. I need the knowledge which is taking care of the soul, not taking care of the body. And how do we get the knowledge? We read scripture. So intelligence becomes sharpened. It guides the mind what has to be done and what should not be done, and mind guides the body what has to be done. So irrelevant of whatever bodily postures or yoga I perform, it never connects me to the intelligence. It only handles up to the mind. So you can calm your mind to a certain time, but when something happens, your mind is again trouble. So you come to the platform of intelligence. Above intelligence and ego, and above that is soul. So when your soul is pure and it is not able to, it is able to discriminate what is wrong and what is right with the help of the mind and intelligence, you get out of the cycle of birth and death. Why? Because now you utilize every choice you have to go towards God. Did I connect everything well, Mataji?
Yeah.
So body is a medium through which we perform action, but you also need to sharpen your intelligence with these scriptures so you make right choices. When you make right choices, you're not impelled into the karma factor, because now with the intelligence which is given by scriptures, you utilize your body to offer every activity in the service of God, and that's how you get out. So if I'm being nice to everyone, taking care of things nicely, I'm sorry to say you may get a better birth, but you still will be in the cycle of birth and death. Bhagavad Gita does not ask you to go into the cycle of birth and death. Bhagavad Gita tells you birth, old age, disease, and death is a problem. So if I don't have to take a birth, I don't have to die, I have to get out of the cycle of birth and death. And Bhagavad Gita gives you the points or a map or the guidance to how to get out of it. Things in context. Did we build the pyramid crystal clear? Wonderful. Can we chant one round together? I'll get the beads here. Sorry, I went another 2 minutes over.
Hmm?